Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Creating a Legacy podcast with Thalia Ottun. I am your host, and I have a very special person in the studio with me today, my best friend, Misha. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Tal. I'm really excited to be here. It's been a long time coming. I'm looking forward to the conversation we're going to have today.
Yes, I am as well. I'm so excited, and I know we're going to learn a lot today. I already have my mental notes I'm going to be taking, so I hope that our listeners and our viewers have their notepads and their pens as well, because we're going to learn a lot today.
Yes.
So the topic is building a business of littles, and I'm gonna let Misha go through like just who she is and what she does. The stage is all yours. Take it away.
Okay, thank you so much. So, yes, my name is Mica Ogunmekan, and I'm a wife and a mom of two little girls. I have an almost 3 year old, and then my second born is almost 10 months. So, I did have them 2 years apart, and I think when I had my second, my first was just turning two. So it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely been a whirlwind. So such a busy and blessed life. I always knew that I wanted to be a mom. I always knew I wanted to have kids one day, but I didn't always know that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I also didn't know that I didn't see myself as a stay-at-home mom or a full-time mom, if you will. I assumed that after graduating school, which I did for 5 years, so I have an honors BA in communication studies and then a postgraduate certificate in public relations. After finishing school, I assumed that I was going to go into corporate. I was excited to climb the corporate ladder. I wanted to be a high earner. I wanted to just be super successful and like independent in the workforce. So I wasn't really in a rush. I wasn't looking for marriage right away or kids right away. I just assumed that I'm going to focus on work. And then right after graduating and going into the workforce, it literally was not long before I realized this is not for me. As in,
Mm.
like the 9 to 5 grind, clocking in, and just being like stuck somewhere for the whole day.
Yeah.
Not being fully in control of your days. I
Mm.
really did not like my commute. It just so happens that where I was living compared to the jobs that I was getting after school, it was always about like an hour and a half each way. And that started with like public transit, and then eventually I got a car and all of that. But I just didn't like that routine that I had to do that
Mm-hmm.
every single day, like day in and day out. But like I conformed to it. It was just what I was like, I guess this is what life is after graduating and getting a job, but I wasn't fully satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like to cut a long story short, like, there's a long journey of being in the corporate world, even though I knew that I wasn't meant to be there for long. So this happened, like I graduated in 2012. By about 2013 slash 2014 is when I knew for sure I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to work for myself. And at that point, it was
Mm-hmm.
like I want time freedom. I want to be able to earn an income that's more than the average salary that you would get working in corporate. Um, and yeah, just like financial freedom, time freedom, that's what I was looking for. Being able to like do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But in hindsight, and as a believer, I know that your business is fully founded on like your faith and all of that. So, like, as a believer myself as well, in hindsight, now I know that God kept me in the corporate world for the duration of time that He did, which is about 10 years, because I left in 2022 when I was pregnant with my first daughter. So, that was 10 years of being there and doing that. And He definitely wanted me to learn and grow. And, like, I wasn't ready yet to do something on my own. I know that now. Also, back in 2012, 2013, I was not a born again believer. So I believed in God, but I was not born again. I did not have full understanding, and I didn't have the relationship that I have with Christ then.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely need Him in the season that I am now, really to lead and guide and direct me in the decisions that I'm making as a mom and as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all that to say how all this got started was from the desire I had way back then, that I knew like this working 9 to 5 isn't for me. I knew I was called to something else, but I didn't know all the details yet. And then, so I was in communications, then I went transitioned into the financial field in investment management and
Mm-hmm.
different different world. Worked in like male dominated industry for a while. which taught me a lot. It was enjoyable too. Like there was good seasons. I just knew always in the back of my mind, like I'm not meant to be here forever, and I couldn't figure out when it was the right time to leave. And it wasn't until so I got married in 2021. COVID had happened. We were all working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Job became very very high stress, even more than normal. And I felt at that point that kind of the grace that God had given me to be in the workforce was really leaving at that point. Um,
Right.
so around now is when I really was feeling like the push that like to take the leap now into in entrepreneurship. And my
Right.
husband was pretty much on board at this point for me to at least try. And then I also found out I was pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
which some people would be like, okay, like wouldn't that like maybe you should stay in your job if you're pregnant? Because like of all the things we think about, like, financial stability and
Right.
all those things, comfort and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But really, like, there was something inside of me that was like, I'm better off leaving. And
Right.
actually, I felt like staying in the corporate world at that point was kind of just like delaying what I ultimately knew I was meant to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had tried like a bunch of different businesses while working in corporate on the side. None of them that really came to like a full launch or a full like fruition or income or anything. And then at this point, when I did leave while I was pregnant with my first, I was doing something different than I'm doing now, but similar. I always wanted to kind of coach or teach or something like that. So I
Right.
can get into like what I tried, but what I am doing today, my business Not So Sleepless Mama, I am a certified pediatric sleep consultant. So I help mothers who are in desperate need to regain sleep after having a baby or babies,
Yeah.
and then help their babies achieve that quality sleep that they really need to develop. So basically, I'm a sleep coach and I offer premium sleep support. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think that's really inspiring. Like even just the fact that like your journey wasn't just a straight line. I think
No,
we all are limited like in our thinking that we have to have everything figured out. It must go this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. And that's not how life works.
no,
Life doesn't work like that at all.
not
So
at
thank you
all.
for being so transparent because I feel like our listeners and our viewers would be encouraged in the fact that yeah they might be going through a similar situation that you were in where like they're working in carpet and they're feeling that pull that like God is pulling them away, that nudge that okay, this is not the time. I can truly attest to the same season because I went through that
Yeah.
2021 2021, and then it would have walked that path 2021 August to the end of 2022. But that season was one that God also used as well to like help me to hear him more clearly and just draw
Yeah.
me to himself and like have not having the noise of corporate because like as you mentioned that 9 to 5 like the demands of it, just the
Yeah.
pressures from everybody else and everything. I think that puts us in a position where it's really hard to hear God audibly and just to function. I'm not saying that you can't function in the corporate world. That's not what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Before everyone starts being like, so are you saying that we all, yeah, that's not what I'm saying. We all have different callings, but I think we definitely think alike. We have similar personalities and everything. And
Yeah.
I believe that God has actually called us on similar journeys.
Yes.
And the way that we function, that does not work. It doesn't function out. So thank you so much for sharing that. I
No
feel
worries.
like someone might just hear that and be like, okay, you know what, like there is hope for me. I've been feeling this
Yeah.
thing and it's okay to go. Um, so like I know that had to be an interesting time though, honestly. So can you tell us a little bit more just about like the actual move of stepping away and some of the things that you would have encountered in that process? I think that would be really helpful to someone today.
Yeah, for sure. So, 2022 is when I officially left the workforce. But that wasn't the first time that I had wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
as I mentioned. So I actually left. So like I was in investment management for the longest period of time after graduation, and I left that role. about a year before I officially left the workforce. So I left that role, and I had been applying for so many other jobs and didn't hear anything. And so my husband and I had kind of decided like it would be a good time for me to finally just take the leap into entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I had done a lot of convincing and speaking with my husband about that because he wasn't like he's not an entrepreneur himself. I mean, he does have actually a business, a side business, but he also is in full-time work, and that's kind of what he's used to and what he was comfortable with before. So he didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have a calling for entrepreneurship per se, like I believe I did or do. So yeah, it was a lot of communication and a lot of conversations that we had had together. Again, we were newly
Mm-hmm.
married a year into marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and we hadn't talked previously about me taking the leap that soon. So like we did talk about it. We did talk about like eventually me working for myself, but I think we both imagined it being a little bit further down the line. I didn't expect that COVID and everything that happened around that time would drive me to be so burnt out and just completely done with the workforce
Right.
that soon. And I figured it would go kind of differently. And so did he. The way everything was going, I left that role that was stressing me out so much, and I was about to just accept going into business on my own. But
Mm-hmm.
then I got a job offer, one of the jobs I had
Mm-hmm.
applied to way back, and of course, and it was a little bit more money than I was making in the investment management
Mm-hmm.
world, and so my husband was like, "Definitely take it." At least it was a contract, so he's like, "Let's just do
Mm-hmm.
it for the contract." And so, anyways, I reluctantly hopped into that.
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, it was good because I needed that extra buffer of income before I really dove into it. It was
Right.
helpful for multiple reasons, especially it helped in being eligible for maternity leave after having my firstborn. So all the little
Mm-hmm.
details that God like works out. But I reluctantly dove into that next job, and I did that for about a year, and that was similar. It was also kind of in the financial world, but different. But again, I was just like, I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
I everything in my spirit was just like wrestling every day, like no, like you're meant to be doing this, like you're meant to be embarking on this entrepreneurship journey. So
Mm-hmm.
after the contract ended, I didn't renew it, and I resigned. And to speak to how that transition was stepping away, it was scary. It was nerve wracking. I prayed heavily about it before I did it and after. I felt that I definitely got a green light from God. I felt confirmation in multiple different ways. Like I think it was just like the peace that I had
Mm-hmm.
and that I had listened to, some different sermons, and I just felt like God spoke through a few different people that like I was on the right path. But it
Mm-hmm.
was so scary because I had not had a job since like 14 or 15 years old. Like I had been
Right.
consistently since for like my whole life that I can remember, like starting with like babysitting or, just little jobs. And then I think my
Yeah.
job was like a call center when I was 15. And ever since that job at 15, I was never not employed. So all
Mm-hmm.
through school, I was always employed. I was always making some form of money. So to leave the workforce and not have a paycheck coming in at all was definitely an adjustment. I mean, in the beginning, I had quite a bit of savings, and I was also the plan was to hustle, so push my business
Right.
and do little side things. So I was doing Uber Eats driving,
Mm-hmm.
like selling things online, as
Mm-hmm.
in like on like places like Facebook Marketplace and
Mm-hmm.
just like just making like every dollar counts when you're
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
grinding season. Literally every dollar counts.
Mm-hmm.
But I went from, or we I should say, went from being like very very comfy, as you if you will, financially,
Mm-hmm.
to having to like budget more, like and really be aware of where every dollar is going, not just like I'm gonna buy shoes today, or like I'm you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was definitely an adjustment. It's part of the sacrifice, I believe, when you're embarking on entrepreneurship. So yeah, it wasn't. That's kind of how it felt stepping away, and it has not been easy. So it's been almost 3 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm finally. Because in the beginning I wasn't doing this business, so I was trying to do other things. But I
Mm-hmm.
finally found or stumbled upon like sleep coaching, and that's thanks to my daughter and God. I have this business that I love now, and I'm working on pushing that and building that. But yeah, it hasn't been easy. There's been a lot of sacrifice. There's been a lot of adjusting. There's been impact um, in like every area of life.
Right.
Marriage, just like being a mom, like becoming a mother in the midst of this too. Like it's
Yeah.
different than I think. Like if you were, if I was still, there was just so much change that happened at the same time, kind of. So it's like,
Right.
I think if like I was just leaving my job and becoming an entrepreneur, but like no kids, just focusing on that change alone. But it's like I
Mm-hmm.
left what I was used to, like working. I
Mm-hmm.
became like a stay at home. I became like a stay at home wife, I guess, for while I was pregnant. Then I became a stay at home mom. Now I'm adjusting to
Mm-hmm.
becoming a mother while also not having that like financial stability that I had before. Um,
Right.
Now the dynamic in my marriage has shifted a little bit because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like fully depending on like the one income that we have.
Right. Mm-hmm.
My husband and I are communicating differently than we did before when it comes to money. So like that was a change for both of us too, like just navigating that like that change. Um, so like a lot of those things were all happening at the same time, but motherhood in itself is like the biggest change ever for a woman, I think. Like it changes you
Mm-hmm.
so much and you'll never go back to being like who you were before. And that's not a bad thing, but it's just like
Mm-hmm.
huge change. So yeah, it's been a lot, but I can say that like God has been with me through the whole thing, every
Right.
step of the way, and like yeah, I'm just a much better person. I have grown into this like new version of myself that I love more than, I've come a long way, I guess is what I want to say.
Yeah. Oh no, that is really inspiring. No, that's really inspiring. Like I personally, like I will have moments that I sit down and I'm like, okay, how would I do this if my children were here? Like it is not an easy feat, but it is something that I definitely desire. Like I look forward to that season of life of like building as well because they ultimately like the reason we're doing these businesses, yes, we need to make money, but ultimately we're working towards something that we can transfer to our children that
Hmm.
creates that legacy, that creates that generational wealth, that is something
Yeah.
that can be transferred and that can also be like that nest egg for them, etc. And so I've always wondered how I will continue to build that legacy when they're small because like you want to give them all the attention that they need, like those years are very formative years, but at the same time like you still need to focus on the actual business for it to work.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you juggle that? Like, how do you get through all the things that you need to do? You have to be a wife. You need to cook. You need to clean. You need to give time to your marriage. But then you also still have to deal with your children, and your children are in two different ages, so what they need are different. Like, so how do you do that? Like, we
Yeah.
need all the tips here.
I'm still learning. Just, just I'll start with
Yeah.
that. I'm definitely still learning. It is not easy at all, and I have my days where I'm just like, how can I do this? Like this, like doesn't seem like it's ever gonna be like perfect or like just the way that I envision it being like smooth sailing. But then I have
Hmm.
to give myself grace because like I'm literally trying to work and hustle through a season where like there's supposed to be a lot of rest, especially like when you're early postpartum. Like I have a baby that's under 1, so like I've been working through her whole like first year. Like my first daughter, I did kind of have a longer break and I didn't have a full business at that point. I was still kind of like figuring out what my business is going to be.
Right.
And I was on like maternity leave in a sense, like I was still eligible for maternity benefits. So I kind of took that like break after. I was like
Right.
not at all. So I really wasn't working.
Yeah.
But after my second daughter, I needed to earn income like right away. And I already had launched my business. So I really wanted to like keep the momentum going. So I haven't really
Right.
rested probably as much as I should.
Yeah.
So that has been challenging. But at the end of the day,
Hmm.
like when I'm so exhausted and everything, like I know what I'm pushing towards. Like I have days where I'm just like, this is so hard. Like maybe like let's just throw everything up in the air and like put them in daycare and like get a part-time job or something. Like try and have some like steady income coming in again. But
Mm-hmm.
I never give into that because like I always just remember like what I want. So like going back to building a legacy, like I want to I don't want to be average. I know that I'm called to more. I know that I'm called to break cycles of struggle and poverty in my family line, have things be
Yes.
different for my children, prosperity for my children, generational blessings, be able to break these things myself, teach my kids what they need to know to be able to go forward in that same path. And also, I just believe that I'm called to teach others about this too, like more like on a
Mm-hmm.
ministry side. So I have to get through this season in order to like get to that place. So I can't just
Mm.
and like I know like it just would have been even a waste of time to give up now. Like I've come so far
Yeah.
that like to give up now and just be like, okay, I'm going to go back and like I also then have like certain feelings about daycare and stuff. Like I know that daycare for some people, daycare is like the village that they need, and some people don't have the option of staying at home with the kids in the early years, even though they may
Mm-hmm.
want to. I have
Mm-hmm.
to, I have to thank my husband so much because like he is supporting us in allowing me to be able to be at home with the kids and pursue this business.
Mm-hmm.
And so without him, like I wouldn't be able to do this with the kids. So like if I was single and didn't have kids, then for sure I could leave my job and just like hustle and grind and I
Right.
probably would be doing that and pushing for my business.
Right.
But if for sure if he wasn't willing and able to support financially right now, they would have to be in date like they'd have to be in daycare or something like so I have to thank him so
Yeah.
much. But yeah, to answer your question specifically, how do I juggle all the things? So like right now my kids are in different stages. I think I have to tell myself that like there's never going to be like perfection in all the things that you mentioned. So you were saying like, you have to cook and clean and like be a wife and like give time to your marriage
Mm-hmm.
and actually give time to this business and be a present mom. Like there's so
Mm-hmm.
many areas. Like I've just discovered
Mm-hmm.
after being a mom now for almost 3 years that like I don't believe that it's possible for you to like win in all of those areas all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you're one person, like, and
Yeah.
like even the even multitasking in itself, in general, like with work and everything, like our brains aren't not even meant to multitask really. So to
Yeah.
become like when are multitasking, like there are some tasks that are not fully being done 100% because like our brains
Correct.
can't focus on a million things at once. So
Right.
um, so what I've just kind of learned to accept and what my husband and I have like adjusted to as well is that like there's going to be seasons where we're not going to be spending as much quality time together as we might want to, especially with little kids. But like we just have to be intentional about like being aware of that and like planning for like when we're going to do it again.
Right.
We were just like, okay, we should have a date night soon, even if it's like an indoors date night, like after the kids go to bed, like be intentional about like putting on a movie, like putting our phones down, just having
Mm-hmm.
that time together. Because it's been a long time because like my second daughter was sleep in our bed in our room till just recently when I started sleep training her a couple months ago and we
Mm-hmm.
transitioned her to her own room and stuff. So there's like seasons where there's I'm thankful and blessed that my husband actually enjoys cooking. So there's
Mm-hmm.
been a season where he had took that over more fully right after having the baby and like that happened with both
Right.
kids like right after have the early months of postpartum he was pretty much just doing the cooking and he likes
Mm-hmm.
cooking so that worked for us and that
Right.
helped me out so for him though like he even says sometimes I'm tired of my own food um,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a sacrifice for him like he's just sacrificing not having me my cooking for a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and we both have to sacrifice not spending time together as much because now we're like two kids divide and conquer like he does bath time bedtime with my oldest while I'm
Mm-hmm.
with the younger one and yeah like I pretty much like the sacrifice for me is like I don't have personal time. Like I've said goodbye to personal time a long time ago. It's very hard. Like but I encourage all moms and like I'm trying to do it for myself too to like really try and prioritize it when possible because it is so important for our health to like
Of
mental
course.
health and physical health to like take care of ourselves. We really have to pour into our cup otherwise we can't pour from an empty cup as you know.
Right. Yeah.
So the first part is just accepting that you can't do all the things. Like they're not all going to be perfect. So you're going to move through seasons of like where right now you're giving all your most of your focus to the kids, and that's the first part. And then the
Yeah.
second part is like trying to find balance. So like the first 2 years of like your child's life is like so much like state changes and things, so it gets
Right.
easier. So like now I'm almost to 1 year with my second, which I know I'm almost done breastfeeding, which is a whole thing. So like once that's done, things get easier. It's already gotten easier that like she's not napping, she doesn't need as many naps, and now that
Right.
she's sleep trained, she's sleeping through the night. And so things
Right.
have gotten easier to the point where like, okay, I can depend on when I put her down, like she's gonna stay down. My husband and I can have that evening time back. I can also have that evening time to do some work now too. Like I know that I can because I know that they're both gonna stay sleeping.
Right.
Um, and then um, so kind of blocking time. I have a little bit of childcare with my mom. She comes and helps a couple times a week. So she
Perfect.
comes in and she's here for the whole day. And so when my mom is around, I mean, I'm still breastfeeding my little one, so I'm still like involved in helping out with them, but
Mm-hmm.
I can block time. So I try. Most recently, I have tried to like I offer when I do calls with clients, always usually during nap time because I know it's the quietest time in the house. So I have like
Right.
nap time hours are my hours to do my calls, and then I
Mm-hmm.
try to block a little bit of time where I know like in this window, even if it's an hour, I'm gonna do like whatever I plan to do, and like no exception. Like I have to get that done. Like I don't like nothing's gonna interrupt that 1 hour. But like
Mm-hmm.
some days that might be the only block of hour of work I did for the entire day.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating because I'm like, wow, like the old me is like I could have just pushed and I could have gotten all this website or whatever it is I'm doing done.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like literally I got 1 hour of focused work.
Wow.
And then the rest of the day I might have tried 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here, but like I'm being pulled in different directions. So that's kind of how I do it. I block like if I can at least get like 1 hour. What I've realized once, and also like once you become a mother of multiples, like you realize you can get a lot done in a small amount of time, as opposed to what before I had kids. Like I could probably not 1 hour would be like not enough time for me to get something done, but now I know I can bang
Right.
out like, something in an hour because you just get used to like working so fast. Yeah, so block time blocking is what I do, and I try to do that also with my kids. So I
Mm-hmm.
have them home because I want to be present with them and I want to be the one that raises them and the one that teaches them things.
Right.
And so it's not even just about like things they're going to learn at school, but like teaches them about like handling their emotions, like my toddler.
Mm-hmm.
And like when she's having like a meltdown, like I don't want to be just like brushing her off because I have to work or I'm looking at a screen. I don't want to just put
Right.
her on the TV to distract her. And if she was at daycare, she would be doing like some different activities and different things they have them do. So now that she's at home with me, I'm like, I can't just be in front of my phone all the time trying to work.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to juggle that because I feel guilty both ways sometimes. But what I've
Yeah.
tried to do recently is like just also blocking intentional time with her. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm, especially the days that I'm so low where I don't have my mom's help, because when my mom is here, she's just like pouring the grandmother like attention on me.
Yeah.
But
That's
when
cute.
I'm solo with them, I really try to like most of the day is them. But like I said, like I will use nap time, then I'll have intentional like pouring into them time, or especially my toddler, my little one's kind of just she's just hanging out,
She's just
rolling.
yeah.
But like especially my toddler, like intentionally like playing with her. She's into like pretend play now and all that stuff.
That's so
So when
cute.
I've like filled her cup very well for a while, she's pretty good to play independently after that for a bit because like she feels
Okay.
she's gotten her attention. She's almost 3, so like she's getting to that age where she can like sit down and like play with something by herself. So if she's
Mm-hmm.
good, then I can look at my phone or like be on my computer for like a little bit. Maybe that's when I can have maybe a 15 minutes to like do something
Mm-hmm.
before I have to like change someone, dress someone, feed someone,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of a gist of like how I'm managing. In terms
Okay.
of like house cleaning and the cooking and all that stuff, like honestly, I'm still in this postpartum season. I'm like at this point right now, I'm just now getting back to like let me start meal planning again and like let me start
Mm-hmm.
like trying to figure out like a cleaning like schedule because right now there has been we just tidy and clean kind of just like consistently. Like as
Right.
in we're always picking up. We're always at the end of the night like we clean up, but we don't like we haven't deep cleaned in quite
Right.
some time. So So yeah, getting back to that. Getting back to that. Yeah, that's kind of that's the reality of life right now.
I really appreciate your transparency, and that gave me a lot to think about for sure. Like I know in my current process, I've been trying to build all of these different contingencies. That's what I am currently coining them. So like more like the passive route, so that like when I'm actually in that season, yes, there will be maternity leave, but like depending on just how life is, how many things we have to sustain, like having other businesses running still in the midst of it.
Mhm.
Like, but the reality is just like you explained, like there's so many different things you have to juggle in your day that like you might not get any time to work on it at all. So it's about that organization. And I remember like you even have an ebook on that on that how to
Mhm.
manage your time, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so like I before diving into or before becoming certified as a sleep coach, I
Mm,
was dabbling in digital marketing. I took a digital marketing course that I purchased online, and I was also offering that for sale.
mm,
And in doing that, I learned all about creating digital products, marketing them, and selling
mm,
them. And I created an ebook. It was called Time Management for Moms with Littles.
mm,
And yeah, it was about kind of like my journey with my firstborn and how
mm,
I was being like scattered and disorganized every day to like really finding a good rhythm
mm,
for working and taking care of her and like being at home with her and then also doing chores and cleaning and cooking. And so yeah, it was yeah, I don't have it currently up in a store online anymore. I kind of retired it, but like I could still offer it. I think that I would just probably tweak it a little bit because in hindsight
mm.
now, I spoke to motherhood and I said littles, but I really only had one child. So
Right,
now
right.
it's different. I feel like some of the advice really is for like if you have one, because it's just it's
Mm-hmm.
so different. When you have two, like you mentioned, they're on two different schedules. So
Right.
it was a lot easier when I just had one to kind of like the way I was explaining in that book, time blocking things. But in terms of like the meal planning, you could still do that. That still applies. And I had
Okay.
like I think I had some recipes in there as well. Like I was
Nice.
focusing on the one pot dishes and stuff. So yeah, I it was a good book. I liked it, and there's a few people that left reviews about it that they found it helpful as well. But yeah, I think with two, you need some different strategies than what I had in there. So
Yeah.
I had those in, I think.
Yeah, no worries. We'll have version one and then we'll have version two. We'll have the
Yeah.
second edition for sure. Like we look forward to the second edition because again we need
Okay.
we need all the help that we can get over here. All the help that we can get. But I like a lot of the things that you mentioned because you spoke to intentionality, you spoke to communication, you spoke to organization. I think those are really, really key. I I just have a puppy, right? But like even with her, there've been times that we have like it has really augmented our communication. We might want to go out for the weekend and then we're like, okay, so who's gonna watch Chill? And then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I gotta figure out childcare. Well, not childcare, but puppy care. I gotta
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
care for her. I gotta figure out making sure that she has enough food and
Yeah.
coordinating like with someone's schedule for watching her. And sometimes I might have to actually take her to someone's house, like making sure you
Yeah.
pack everything and all. Like there's just so many
Those
different
things
things
are
that
really similar. Yeah.
goes into it when you're responsible for someone
And have a
else or
fight.
something else.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I love that. I love like the communication and the teamwork. I think that teamwork is really essential. It's
Hmm.
good that you guys have worked through these years and all the different seasons to come up with a system that works and are able to communicate and just bounce off of each other and feed off of each other's energy and just figure out what needs to be done to get
Yeah.
things done. Because like
Yeah.
the process that you both are going through is not easy one. Like the
No.
like children are completely dependent on you.
Yeah.
And then you still have to feed yourself, you still have to clothe
Yeah.
yourself, still have to do all these other things for yourself. And obviously you're still building not just one business but multiple businesses in the process. So yeah, like I really appreciate and I love that you were so honest with us because like some people just make it seem like it's all gold and sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
But I love that you are very candid with like these are the realities of it. Because I feel like that puts us in a place for those of us that are not yet in the season to start to think about how we could get into the frame of mind that we can deal with those seasons when we get there. And for those of
Yeah.
us that are in it to like actually know like we're not alone. There are other
No,
people going through this, and we can all make it through together if we implement some of these strategies and we just continue to trust God ultimately. He's the
ultimately,
one that
yeah.
gives the grace, He's the one that gives the
Yeah.
strength, He's the one that gives the wisdom. Yeah, that's
Seriously.
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank
I know
you.
you touched on the starting of your second business, so your Not So Sleepless Mama
Yeah.
business. So can you get into a little bit more about like just how you started that and then just what you do in depth so that all the mothers out there and the fathers and all the families that need that support can come to you and get that support.
For sure. Yeah, so I'm so passionate about this business now, and I never thought in a million years that I would be a sleep coach. I didn't even know what that was before having children. Basically, yeah, my postpartum with my first daughter was extremely challenging, and I had no idea what to expect. Like I was just completely unprepared for what I went through, which I think most new moms can attest to that. Um,
Yeah.
so basically, to cut a long story short, I was like sleep deprived for over a year. So up to
Wow.
14 months, 14 months is when we decided to finally sleep train her.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, I didn't know anything about baby sleep. I just assumed that like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they get up in the night to eat, you feed them, and then they go back to sleep. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
what I thought it was.
Right.
But no, like babies actually, they need a lot of support to sleep. They
Okay.
don't just naturally fall asleep by themselves easily. When they're newborns, they're definitely more sleepy. But there's a lot of natural factors of sleep and things that go into like allowing sleep to come easily or not. And obviously, every single baby is different. Every baby's
Mm-hmm.
temperament is different and their needs are different. So, like, there are rare babies out there that are just like really good sleepers. They just sleep super
Right.
well. They're just not super sensitive to like external things disrupting their sleep. They can sleep in
Mm-hmm.
the light, they can sleep with noise. Like there's some babies like that. That don't. Those are the parents I don't see because they don't really seek any help because they don't need help. um, but then most babies do need assistance, and parents just don't know what to do for the most part because sleep, as I've learned, it's actually a new study, even for adult sleep. Doctors, pediatricians, and adult doctors are not like fully educated in like the specialty of sleep. And I was
Mm.
told this by a doctor. She said that, yeah, like they have to go get like additional continuing education, I guess, or different like education.
Okay.
So even if you go to a pediatrician, which I went to with my daughter, and other clients I've spoken to have done the same, your pediatrician
Mm-hmm.
will usually check baby, make sure baby is healthy. There's no other like external things like sleep apnea or different medical issues causing a
Right.
sleep problem. As long as they're healthy, if they're not sleeping properly, the doctor will just say, cry it out. That's usually what they all say, like three
Wow.
days and they should be fine. But that's it. Unless the doctor actually maybe knows a sleep coach or like
Mm-hmm.
partnership with one or something, and they might be able to pass you on some information. But most people say, yeah, I took my baby to the doctor and the pediatrician just said to do cry it out or that she'll just grow into a better sleeper eventually, but didn't really give any advice. And then there's moms and fathers too, who are like struggling and like not functioning, and it's like years. It's not just like a few weeks. It's like this is
Right.
like impacting people's marriages, is impacting like
Right.
so people's jobs. Like sleep is
Mm-hmm.
like we all need quality sleep to function well in life. So, anyways, I became passionate about sleep after completely losing sleep for over a year.
Yeah.
And I was not healthy anymore, mentally or physically. I was getting sick all the time. And basically, like my husband, he had to go back to work eventually, and
Mhm.
he sleep to function in his role as well. He was so it basically like he, like I mentioned before, was helping out a lot in the day with cooking and things, and so the nighttime just kind of became my role, my job. And
Mhm.
as much as it didn't make sense to me for us both to be completely sleep deprived because then who's going to
You're right.
manage? However, so I tried to tackle it on my own, but I eventually realized like I can't cope anymore. And so it
Mhm.
was becoming a problem. Like we weren't happy with each other or just in general. I was miserable every day because I
Mhm.
was so tired. And
Mhm.
my daughter was also like not, she was over 1 now. So lots of development is happening, but she's not getting quality sleep. Like she's not sleeping through the night
Mhm.
or even long stretches, not even through the night. Like she was waking up still like every hour, every 2 hours. So really fragmented sleep. So that was impacting
Mhm.
her mood and everything during the day. And
Mhm.
then I was just getting sick all the time. I always had a cold, always something going on. So,
Mhm.
anyways, long story short, as I mentioned already, I took her to the doctor and they kind of just told me to like let her cry. And I just
Mhm.
was not comfortable with doing that. I wasn't comfortable with just like literally letting her cry and leaving the room,
Mhm.
which is what they told me to do. But that was really, really hard for me. And then the opposite of that, it was either like doctors telling me to do that or grandparents and other older people that have had children a long time ago saying like just sleep with the baby in your bed.
Mhm.
And so I tried that. I tried I tried that as well, but co-sleeping did
Mhm.
not work for us. It doesn't work for everybody. Some
Mhm.
people can co-sleep safely and comfortably, but there are a lot of risks to co-sleeping. Even when you do it safely, there's still more risks than baby sleeping in their own bed. But you can
Mhm.
try. There are safe tips to do it as safe as possible.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I had an experience where baby felt rolled out of the bed in the night,
Mhm.
and that could have been way worse than it was. Fortunately, she didn't
Right.
get badly injured, but she was still pretty young.
Mhm.
She was 7 months. So yeah. Anyways, that was scary, a scary experience. So
Yeah.
not for us either. So then I stumbled upon a sleep coaching company online, and I looked into them. I loved the approach that they offered because it was a balance between um, cry it out and co-sleeping. So it was something in the middle where baby is still learning independent sleep, but you're there to
Okay.
support them through the change the whole way.
Mhm.
So I worked with a coach personally, and she changed my life and helped me get
Wow.
my 14-month-old to sleep independently for naps and bedtime in her crib happily. It was a process for
Mhm.
sure, but I was comfortable and happy that I was able to be with my daughter the whole way through.
Mhm.
And eventually we got to our goal. And yeah, so I worked one on one with the coach to do that. And I didn't even know they existed, as I mentioned before, until this.
Right.
I was already telling friends and people about this breakthrough that I had had, how I felt
Yeah.
like a woman, like I felt like alive again.
Mhm.
I had just gotten used to being chronically sleep deprived. But after that, I could function again. That's when I really started like the digital marketing business and I started like just creating
Okay.
things and having the energy and time to do that. So it was later that I then realized I got an email about a certification program to become a certified sleep consultant. And
Mhm.
I felt like I had finally found like something that fit perfectly because I was still looking for like a business that like a legit business that I could make steady income with, that I could also make an impact and like touch others' lives. And I was so
Mhm.
passionate about mothers now, being a mom and what I went through about especially new moms. I just had a heart for new moms now.
Yeah.
I was able to, yeah, I felt like with this certification, I'd be able to help other new moms like avoid going through what I went through, or at least like help them solve the problem.
Mhm.
I decided that I would take a leap again into something a little bit different and get certified. So I went through that certification process, and I was actually pregnant with my second daughter when I was doing that. Um, and I finished my certification in about 6 months. And then, because it was just before like I gave birth, that
Mhm.
I finished that, and I launched the business. And then I did take about like a 2 months, I guess, break
Mhm.
after having my second. And then after that, which was around March of this year, I think, yeah, um,
Okay.
that's when I like dove into taking on clients again. Like I did take on
Wonderful.
clients prior to that, but then
Mm-hmm.
took a break and I dove fully into like marketing
Right.
on clients. But yeah, like I could kind of touch on what I do in my business in the sense of like how I support moms.
Yeah, for sure.
So the structure that I have now is basically I offer one-on-one support. It is
Mm-hmm.
virtual, so I can work with you regardless of where in the world you live.
Mm-hmm.
Can work together, and so basically I can help you with children from newborn all the way up to 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My newborn packages are do not include sleep training per se. I believe that newborns definitely need help. They need more assistance with sleep. They
Right.
need touch, comfort, and they don't really possess the ability to self-soothe. So that's 0 up to 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But is that I do offer are for expectant moms, which is actually a new package that I just put on my website, but expectant moms and
Wonderful.
moms. So it's basically more of an educational piece so that you can go into
Okay.
this being unprepared. And
Love
then
that.
when baby first is born, you also, yeah, I'm there to like walk you through those first, well, I'll get into the tiers, but those first few months and
Mm-hmm.
kind of have that support because, especially for a new mom and with newborns, there's so much that newborns do that you're like, is this normal? Is this not normal? Like new moms just
Right.
spend time Googling. I remember being Googling like,
I
there's
feel
like
that.
green poop. What does green poop mean? Like, just all the different things,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
normal or not. And to avoid going to the doctor and asking all these questions, which usually is what I would do, or calling a doctor, I am able to provide all of those answers in the
I
newborn
love
package.
that. That's so good.
So you don't have to like stress, like trying to make that newborn fog or the newborn experience, that fourth trimester, less stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a mini package, and it kind of like invites you into the rest of the collections of packages that I have as
Mm-hmm.
baby changes. So that maybe if you have a great experience working together as an expectant mom or as a brand new mom with a new, it's a mini package. Like it's just it includes a call, an hour call, and then the package with when baby is here. We do. I offer a week. I believe it's a week of support, like with the
Okay.
newborn, give you a lot of resources and stuff. So after that, if you have
Sweet.
a great experience, and if you once baby obviously grows and develops, and you want to get into like independent sleep training, then
Mm-hmm.
you could look into one of my bigger packages. But so I have them broken up by age. So 4 to 7 months is the first age group, or 4 to 6 months, sorry. The first age group, this is called the Foundations Collection, and I
Mm-hmm.
have tiers. So I have like my biggest package, which is the most value, and that one is a 3 month partnership. So it's actually much more than just a package or just a sleep plan. It's supposed to feel very premium, very luxury. I want to be like holding your hand essentially. Like I want the mother to feel like
Right.
held and cared for 3 months. You have me in your
Mm-hmm.
back pocket. It's one on one, and it's on top of just like helping you with the independent sleep portion.
Mm-hmm.
We have 6 coaching calls throughout that 3 months, so like every 2 weeks, and those
Okay.
calls can kind of be tailored to like whatever the mom or family is going through that point. I really
Okay.
definitely want to have at least one call focused on like mom and mom's well-being, going through whatever stage
Mm-hmm.
we're at. So let's say we're at the 4 month regression, talking about
Mm-hmm.
mom's wellness and like mom's mental health at that point, like just what she can do to get through that season, perspective, a way to look at it, because it can get very overwhelming and kind of like you can feel isolated. So I really want to
Mm-hmm.
like that support for mom too, on top of like helping her with baby sleep. So yeah, there's a big 3 month package, and then I have a medium package, which is 6 weeks, and that
Mm-hmm.
includes a couple of coaching calls, and of course, both of these packages are like um, unlimited voice and text support and email support, so you can
Okay.
pretty much have access to me all the time. And then the base package is my 3 week package, and that one is just email support, and we just have our 1 hour consultation call
Mm-hmm.
and a sleep plan and everything. So and that one is
Mm-hmm.
more like I recommend younger babies, definitely the bigger packages because younger babies can take a little bit longer and be more have more needs and take a little bit longer to get to our sleep goals. Sometimes older
Mm-hmm.
babies, 3 week package is okay for them. Yeah, and it just depends on what mom is kind of looking for, how much support like she wants for herself as well. So it's 3 tiers, and it's the same 3 tiers for the other age groups as well. So you have your 7 months to 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
That age group is where nap transitions start to happen and lots of other development. And then there is a 12 months plus. So the middle age group is called our Harmony Collection. And then the
Mm-hmm.
age group is the Mastery Collection for early toddlerhood.
Okay, that's
But 12 months plus, of course, is lots of more development again and nap transition.
right.
So I tried to break it up where transition and change happens that you usually need help with. And then again, there's a 3 tiers, so 3 months, 6 weeks, 3 weeks for each age group. So yeah, like there's a lot more I could go into, but I
Mm-hmm.
actually just recently redid my website, so we can share
Okay.
that and people can go there and like look at all the details. But yeah,
Wow. No, that is amazing. I like hearing how my friend has a book called Beauty for Your Ashes, Purpose for Your Pain, and literally I can see like
yeah,
the beauty from the ashes. Like I know the postpartum journey was really rough. I know that the period of not sleeping for 14 months was beyond hard. I can visualize, but yet I can't because obviously, like, you're the one that made through it. But
yeah,
I I lose sleep for a little while and then I started getting point. I'm like, yo, like this is not it. So I can imagine that now augmented for 14 months. That had to be extremely challenging. But look at the
yeah,
beauty that God is giving you from that
exactly.
situation. And
It
like
wasn't
the
in
way that
me.
you're now able to apply it in so many different forms, that you're able to cater to so many different people, it's just a
Right.
beautiful thing to see, honestly. I don't think we realize how God uses a lot of our situations for our good
Hmm.
ultimately.
Yeah,
If you didn't pass through that, like you would not
exactly.
have even had the need to get that
Yeah,
support and now also go to the point of getting becoming the support. So it's just
yeah.
so beautiful to
It's
see. I love
crazy.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's so good.
yeah.
So at the end, we're gonna get you to tell us your website and your socials and everyone, so people can find you and just know how to book their own calls. But I did want to touch on a couple more things before we wrapped up this session. This has been an
Okay.
amazing conversation, honestly.
It really has.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, and we're gonna have more conversations. It's definitely not the end.
I know we have. I feel like we always have so many different things to talk
Yeah.
about. And I feel like, yeah, I'd love to share on other topics too.
No, that trust me, right? Season 3 is coming, so everybody stay tuned. Stay
Okay.
tuned. So I know like you touched on like even you doing your digital marketing. I know that is something that's definitely coming up a lot. I love it from the perspective of like it gives you a little bit more flexibility, especially with the amount of things that you have to juggle. Like that
Yeah.
realm definitely is very beneficial. So if you
Hmm.
can just touch on that a little bit for like the stay-at-home mom that is now trying to contribute to her family income, because that for you it even was birthed from that same desire, like okay,
Yeah.
like it's like all right, like the reality is starting to hit, like things aren't looking the way that they used to, and we still have to be able to sustain our family, and you had that desire to contribute to your family income and you found this means. So like what would you tell that stay-at-home mom that also is in a similar situation?
Yeah. So if you really want to be home with your babies, if that is a priority, and so childcare and putting them anywhere else is not an option, or not
Mm-hmm.
something that you want to do, then definitely lean into that and don't give up. Like it's so important, I think. The early years go by truly so quickly. Like I cannot believe
Mm-hmm.
my older daughter is about to be 3, and that means she's home for one more year, and then she's in school
No.
forever. For not forever, but for a long
Yeah.
time. So the first 3 years went by so quick. So definitely don't give in if you really don't have to. Definitely, I would say like that desire is not a bad one. So just to say that
Mhm.
first. And then in terms of making an income, I understand how important that is to be able to support in some way financially, especially in this economy.
Mhm.
So, what I would say first is like I tried a variety of different like side hustles, and I'm not opposed to doing that. Like it depends on like the stage you're at. Of course, like I was kind of doing Uber and stuff like that when I was pregnant for the first time, so I didn't have any kids to watch. So, doing that
Mhm.
with it would definitely be hard because you can't take them with you. But things like that could be done maybe if you were preparing and you didn't have them yet.
Mhm.
But if you're already at home with kids, I did try things like I mentioned, like selling different things online. So, and again, this is just like making little money at first, but you can go on places like Facebook Marketplace. If you have basically what I started doing is like just finding things at home that were still
Mhm.
good quality, but I no longer needed them and
Mhm.
reselling. Or a lot of people, you can even find content creators that like talk about this on its own, but like kind of
Okay.
thrift things, like going to the thrift stores, finding something like super cheap, but like that someone could really use. Like I got this idea from someone, I think she went to a thrift store and she found like kind of like a wicker chair at like a thrift store. It's kind of like those very big kind of decorative like wicker chairs, and she like spray painted it
Mhm.
white, like, made it look even prettier. And then now she like rents it out on Facebook Marketplace for people to use as a prop for like baby showers or like
Nice.
different things. And I forget what she charges for it. It's not super expensive, but not cheap either. Like she rents it for like they can use it for an hour. I think she charges like per hour.
Oh,
And it's like a really beautiful so like you know how like in I know you also do like event
yeah.
like that. So for that kind of thing, let's say like your client is looking for like a certain vibe. Like I didn't even know people did this, but like things like that. Like if you're really thinking out of the box, like there are
That is
ways.
smart. Yeah.
So she just wicker chair for $10 or whatever, made it look pretty, put it on Facebook Market, and now she weekly rents this thing. So that gave me
I love
ideas to
that.
also do things like that. So I did dabble in that
Yeah.
for a little bit. Again, like you're kind of making little money here and there.
Mhm.
But yeah, you mentioned about digital marketing. So I took that course. At first, I was focused on like trying to resell the course, which was what lots of people were doing at that time. The
Mhm.
course itself, I actually bought a couple. But yeah, the course in themselves are very valuable. They touch on so many things. It's kind of packed with information. I learned
Mhm.
about email marketing and all digital marketing as a whole, like all the different aspects of that. But the most
Mhm.
important to me was creating the digital products because
You're right.
that gets us into some more passive income streams. And
Yes.
then anybody I learned can really create a digital product on absolutely anything that you want to share, that you can teach somebody else, that somebody might want to know about. And that course teaches you how to do that.
Mhm.
So once you can think of like an idea that you have, something that you know about, something that you're passionate about, can be as simple as like dog walking or
Mhm.
anything. You even like I think you mentioned to me like you make your puppy some homemade food sometimes, like something
Yeah.
like because I'm just thinking of dogs right now because I heard someone that created their business all about like just simple things they do for their dog.
Oh
So
wow.
someone might be like, yeah, I'd like to learn about making homemade food for my dog, and then they stumble upon,
Mm,
and that is like could be an affordable product. Like it doesn't have to be an expensive product, something that
yeah.
people can easily buy, and you could probably end up selling tons of those. Like, but it's a small
Mhm.
price point, right? Not like a high ticket item. So
Right.
that those are ideas, like kind of just taking something that you already know about and creating a little like book or brochure or a
Mhm.
guide online, and then that's like when that's on there, that's just evergreen kind of, and you can resell that and have passive income. The other thing is, of course, like if you are wanting to be an entrepreneur and like create like a bigger business, then you kind of have to figure out, yeah, what you're passionate about.
Mhm.
Um, to get into because obviously I never thought that I would like get certified in something, but like that kind of
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
came out. So there's
Right.
different, obviously, depends on the avenue that you want to go down. The other
Mhm.
thing that I haven't started really doing yet, but I definitely want to, is of course investing. And when I fully get into that, because I was in
Yeah.
investment management, as I mentioned, so the financial sector. When I fully get back into that, I will definitely have an avenue online to teach on that as well.
I love
But
that.
having your money work for you, so in the stock market, that is definitely a way to have passive income stream coming in. Learning how to trade for yourself and like be in control of your money and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another way. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many ways you can touch.
Yeah.
Not all of them are like super easy. So I want to just say like it's
Right.
hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to
Mm-hmm.
be like I'm gonna stay at home with my kids and just like have money rolling in. Like it's just
Yeah.
not gonna work. I thought it was gonna be a whole lot easier than it has been. But I want to just be encouragement that like this is I don't have a plan B. Like I am staying home with my kids and I'm going to bring steady income into my family. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be a high earner with my business and like by the grace of
Yeah.
God like he's going to allow all this to happen because I'm
Yeah.
also like my purpose like I already mentioned to create a legacy for my kids but also to teach other people like how to do this too.
Mm-hmm.
So by the grace of God it's going to happen. That's why I don't have a plan B. So it's plan
Mm-hmm.
A all the way. So like I
Right.
it's not easy, but I'm not giving up. So my encouragement is like just to like stay. If you also feel the same way,
Mm-hmm.
then like just stay steadfast and don't like let the negative thoughts like this isn't working take over. Just like keep pushing forward. Cause like I'm definitely not where I was 3 years ago, but I
Mm-hmm.
still have a ways to go.
Wow, wow. That's amazing. You've given us a lot of different things to think about. Like even I like that chair one really hit me. I was like, you know what? That is so smart. Cause even for my wedding, I rented like it was a white couch, like a two-seater couch, but like I think I rented it for like $100. And but to be honest, it
Yeah,
was a case that you could rent it for at some other hours for your baby shower,
yeah,
your this or your that, and it
yeah,
added a nice element to the
yeah,
whole wedding. So I'm like that, I never like I participated in the service, but I didn't think I could actually do that myself. No, that is
exactly.
cool. That is cool, and it's not that is something that isn't necessarily too cumbersome for them because the person can
Yeah,
you can arrange for the person to come and collect and whatever. You just have to
exactly.
pick up your phone and be like, okay, yeah, sure. Here's where you can email, or if you get your
Yeah,
system really high tech, they have a website wherever like you can handle your transactions. That's cool. That is cool. I think you've
yeah.
given us a lot to think about in building our businesses with littles. Like there's so many possibilities, and we don't have to inhibit ourselves that okay, you know what, this isn't possible because yes, we are obviously striving to be the best mother and the best wife and give of ourselves in that way, but it doesn't mean that we have to neglect the vision at the end of the day of
Yeah.
pursuing that, building that legacy. So thank you for that reminder. You've
You're
definitely
welcome.
you share so much. There's so much that we just have to take it and absorb. But your story is definitely an inspirational one. Misha, you inspire me every single day. Every single
Oh,
day that you conquer, I'm like, yes, I look forward to conquering in that area. Uh,
amen.
this has been amazing. So please tell us how we can find you. Tell us your socials and your website. How can we get in
Yeah,
contact with you?
for sure. I would love you guys too. So, my website is www.notsosleeplessmama.com. And my Instagram is the same at Not So Sleepless Mama. Um, and then what else? I think those are the best ways to get in touch with me. Like you can send me a
Hmm.
DM on Instagram.
Okay.
And then on my website, you can schedule a call. So that's how you always start off. The process is just a free 15-minute, no pressure chat that we can just talk about like what you're going through, how I
Mm-hmm.
might be able to help you, and I'll explain all about like answer any questions and explain about my services. So right when you get to my website, right at the top, there's a schedule a call button, so you can always click that and book a call with me for free.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation. I
Thank
really,
you.
really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for being here. I know like there was a lot of sacrifice even to I've taken an hour and 8 minutes of your time, but I thank you so much for the sacrifice. And I know our listeners and our viewers appreciate it as well. It has been
Thank
amazing
you
having you on
so
the
much, Val. I
podcast,
really enjoyed
and
it.
No problem, no problem. So until we have you back again, and until the next episode, everyone, this has been Creating a Legacy podcast with Thalia Ottun, and I can't wait to see you for the next episode. Bye for now.